tonight, in order to get me to do this, I told Gav that I needed to be like the front bar, so we'll just thank the sponsors at the front. It's a little bit of a cross between the front bar and the footy show, because we've got Trev Marmalade over here. But he's got no material, so we're not off to a great start. But yeah, no, that's the inaugural Local Legends scheme tonight. So our guest is a young man with an amazing sporting story. We couldn't get much more local than Paddy. So he started his cricket and football journey in Gisborne, and he's back playing footy this year and next year. And he's told me at the back that he's keen to play a few games of cricket this year as well, so that's good. But he's represented and captained his state and country in cricket at different levels. Has also drafted in the AFL system without actually playing a TAC Cup game, if you didn't know that. And is one of the nicest and most humble people you'll ever meet. Please give him a huge welcome, Pat McKenna. So, firstly, thanks for giving up your time, Paddy. Just a little bit of a background how me and Paddy first met. It's probably 15 years ago, I think. Maybe 15 when you were a little tacker. I used to drive Lockie to Carlton cricket training twice a week. Sleepy, we used to call him, because he didn't give me much conversation. I think I spoke 3 words to him in 2 years, Lockie. But Paddy used to wave goodbye to us at the window. He was only about 9, I think, 8 or 9. So met then, and then a couple of years later, I used to take Paddy to cricket training at Melbourne. And I also took Baz as well a couple of years. I used to let the boys drive their L plates, drive my car, the Rodeo, down to Melbourne.
What did Baz do that one time on the drive?
Yeah, Paddy, he was 10 and 2 on the wheel. He was safest thing. I could have a sleep, no dramas, and we'd get there. We'd arrive there safe. Baz, I used to shit myself. He was one hand on the wheel, one hand on Facebook, and I was holding the other on the wheel as well. I think it was one time I looked up and there's just grass going over the front of the car, and he's on Facebook with one hand on the wheel, fat arming. I'm like, Jesus. But yeah, so that's how I sort of got to meet Paddy, and we played in the Premiership at Melbourne together, so we've known each other for a while. So if it's okay, let's start with the early days as a Gisborne junior. Paddy, can you just tell us about some of your coaches, who's had an influence on you, any of your teammates that might be still here today, and just, yeah, all the way through the senior ranks, who's influenced you the most?
Yeah, cool. Well, thanks Mick, thanks Gav and the club for having me as well. I'm really humbled to be the first one here, and yeah, the club's in really good hands, and Gav's looked like he's doing a really good job. So yeah, firstly, yeah, thank you. Yeah, pretty stock standard junior career with Gisborne. A few years of under 12s. Sue Baker was my first coach, I think. Jack Baker's mum. All the way through. Rod Clough, Ollie Clough's dad, coached me a few times, and then the Prez, Andrew, coached me in under 16s. We had 9 of us. Jared was playing in that team. Jacko played, and yeah, we regularly only played with 9, but we still were able to win the premiership that year. So that was a pretty good way to finish under 16s cricket. And I think, yeah, I was looking through a few photos earlier today. I think Bryce was pretty much one of the only ones here. So not too many from my junior career have stuck fat with the senior club, but that's probably pretty standard.
Yep. Let's go back a little bit. Backyard games at home. Who was the best McKenna?
Lockie was always probably the strongest. He had 5 years on us. And then, yeah, me and Eamon always had some good battles. Once Lockie got a bit too cool to hang out with his younger brothers. Remember one afternoon after school just bowling at Eamon for hours, and he made 100 not out, and I was just fucking fielding by myself, and it was bullshit. I think I cracked it once he got to 100 and went inside. So
because you guys had an actual net in the backyard, didn't you?
Yeah, we had the actual net for real serious when Dad was out, and we had to actually bat with proper technique, and then we had just the grass and the trampoline up, and we just played our backyard cricket, and some good times I had out there as well.
Did you get to battle bowl much with the other two?
Not in the early days, but once I kind of got to 12, 13, 14, I tried to make up for the time that was lost.
Yep. All right, tell us about your pathway, what took you into cricket from your time as a junior here at Gisborne until, I suppose, being drafted. So you captained the Vic under 17s, under 19s. What other regional teams did you go through?
Yeah, so it started with the Central Highland stuff from 14s, 16s to 18s, and Jared and I won the 18s final on the MCG, so that was a big highlight. Pretty cool getting to play out there, and then from those I was lucky enough to make the Victorian squads, and then lucky enough again to captain the 17s and the 19s. The 17s we went down to Tassie and we were undefeated for the 5 games and won the Nationals as well. So that was a pretty awesome time down there. The 19s we didn't go so well, but yeah, it was always a good time. A couple of weeks away and going with a bunch of country lads down to wherever we went to Hobart a couple of times, and yeah, always good fun.
Yep. In 2014, you captained the Australian under-19 cricket team. I think it was in Sri Lanka. That would have been a big thrill. Tell us about, I suppose, that tour and then the big decision you had to make upon your return to whether to continue or play AFL. And if there's any players in that side that have kicked on in cricket terms.
Yeah, so it was an interesting time. I played in the 19s. I played my first season of Premier Cricket with Carlton throughout 2013-14. Played Central Highlands as well. So it was a big cricket summer, and it finished with a cricket camp up in Brisbane for the national stuff for just a week, and I was kind of cricketed out. Made 2 blobs up there and was kind of over it, and got to come back down here and just play senior footy, which I was really looking forward to. It was my year 12 year as well, so I was pretty busy. And throughout that year, I was obviously going okay at Gisborne, and I'd heard a few clubs were watching, so I kind of put cricket on the back burner. I didn't really do much of a pre-season, and I thought, well, I mean, footy, you kind of really only get one chance at it, so I put all my eggs in that basket for a bit, and then one day at school I got a phone call saying that, from a guy at Cricket Victoria, well, we know you've put cricket on the back burner, we're going to tell Cricket Australia no, because they want you to go to Sri Lanka to captain the under-19 team. And I was like, hold on, that sounds like a pretty good opportunity. So I had to think about it, and I thought, yeah, well, you don't get that chance very often. So I said, rightio, let's do it. So I at the end of footy season, we lost the prelim for Gisborne in 2014, and the grand final weekend the next week, went up to Brisbane, met the team, and we flew off to Sri Lanka. So for 3 weeks, which was an awesome experience. Got to play some 1 days and 4 days in Colombo against the Sri Lankan under-19 outfit. We only won 1 game, I think, out of 6, so they were pretty handy. But yeah, after that 3 weeks, it kind of actually cemented the fact that I didn't think cricket was a long-term option for me. I was only 3 weeks away from home, and professional cricketers these days are away from home more often than they're actually at home. So I thought when I got back that, I think my decision's been made. And then Dad told me that the Giants had said that they were going to draft me anyway. He withheld that from me and allowed me to make my own decision, but he told me that critical piece of information that I would have liked to know. But from that point on, I nominated for the draft, and then ended up heading up to Sydney. But a few players in that under-19 team that have kicked on. Probably Matt Renshaw, he played a few test games and he's going pretty well. And Jai Richardson's played a fair bit of one-day cricket now for Australia, the fast bowler from WA. And then there's probably 6 or 7 more that are kind of playing for their states, whether it be in the one-day stuff or the Shield or Big Bash as well. So it was a pretty handy side.
Yep. All right. So it was obviously a really big decision to give up cricket. So I believe you're getting some coaching from Greg Shippard. You're in the Victorian system. Who did you sort of lean on to make that decision, or help you get through that decision?
Yeah, it was obviously pretty tough. I mean, you feel like you're kind of letting people down. Tim McCaskill, who a lot of people would know, was driving me into the MCG at 6 a.m. mornings to just have a hit before school and those types of things. And there's a lot of people that invested a lot. Campbell Waring, the Central Highlands regional manager, had invested a lot in my cricket. And you do feel like you're kind of letting some people down, but at the end of the day, it's what I really loved and what I wanted to do, and that was pursue the football route. So obviously lent on mum and dad a lot and my family, and thought, well, what do I really want to do? And I didn't want to keep pursuing cricket if I didn't really love it and burn out. And footy was sitting there, an opportunity to be had. So I went with it.
No regrets at all?
No regrets. Probably would have liked to have a few less injuries over the time, but other than that, really happy with the decision.
Touching on injuries, what injuries did you have at the time? I think you probably nearly missed 2 years of football out of 4, pretty much. Yeah,
so my first year at the Giants, I played 10 games and then had a pretty routine hip surgery that sent me out for the second half of the year. Was completely fine for my second year, and then at Melbourne, I missed a year and a half with a hammy that I had to have a couple of surgeries on, so that was kind of the most disappointing part, I guess, that throughout the time at Melbourne I didn't really get to have kind of continuity and play a lot of games and really find my feet. So It's disappointing, but it happens to a lot more than people would know. It's quite common, and yeah, you only really get to see the best 22 out there every week, whereas there's probably 5 to 10 guys at every club that's battling similar things. So.
Yep. We've touched on the cricket side of things. I guess how's your time at the GWS, going from Gisborne, country boy, to Sydney, and in with all all the new people, new friends? How's your time up there?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It's obviously eye-opening, just moving up from Gisborne into Western Sydney into an apartment with another country lad from Benalla. We were both 18 and going, how good's this? Looking around at a whole team of pretty much 18 to 24-year-olds. So it was a really good time to be there. In the second year, we made the prelim against the Bulldogs, one of the really good AFL games, and just fell short. And the Bulldogs ended up going on to win it. But no, I really loved my time up there. We won the twos flag in the second year, so that was a really awesome moment. Really enjoyed it. If I was playing regular games, I probably would have stayed. But the opportunity to come back down to Melbourne and lock in a 2-year deal at Melbourne, and what I was thinking would be a bit more opportunity, which didn't turn to be. But that was a no-brainer to come back.
Still got some good mates up there. Who are they? Who do you speak to regularly?
Adam Kennedy's a good one. He's from Melbourne. He's a good fella that you'd know. And then Josh Kelly as well is another good fella that I chat to, and Jack Steele from Canberra is now at the Saints. He's another good fella that I keep in touch with.
Being an ex-Saintsman, are you back on the Saints now that you've finished with Melbourne and the GWS?
I kind of ruined footy for myself. I was telling you earlier that it was on the Saints and then the Giants and then Melbourne, and Melbourne was shit and Saints was shit, so I was on the Giants for finals and then they went horribly, so not exactly sure where I stand at the moment, but the Saints did recruit well, so maybe second half of the year they're going alright, I'll jump back on.
That's it. Nowadays, you're into the coaching, AFL Women's at Melbourne. Tell us a little bit about that. When did you start that and how's that going?
Yeah, so I had a good relationship with the AFLW coach at Melbourne, who also was part of the men's program, and when I finished up there, he said, there's an opportunity to coach, and I thought, why not? Keeps me involved, and I've always thought coaching is something that I'd be interested in, not at 22, but I thought, why not? So heading into the second year of that, and really enjoying it. We try and replicate the AFL program, so get to lean on some of the men's coaches as well, and learning a lot and trying to do my level 2, and I'll look to do my level 3 in the coming years, and just tick away a little bit there, so which has also helped me down at Gisborne as well. Yep.
Future coaching aspirations? You got local, or stick to that and then go a little bit higher?
Yeah, nothing major at the moment. I still want to keep playing and enjoy that side of it, and then later on down the track I'm sure there'll be opportunities to coach a team, but not thinking too far ahead at the moment.
Yep. Right. Right now, what else are you doing? What other things are in your professional life? Are you at uni? Girlfriend, boyfriend, what's the go?
So I have a girlfriend. I had an exam on Monday, so I finished my first year of health science at La Trobe, and hoping to transfer into physio in the coming weeks. So that's another thing that I'll look to pursue and kind of juggle the coaching and the physio side of things as we go on.
Still sponging off mum and dad, I see, at home?
Yeah, I was at 4 years out, so I've got another 4 years to go back in, and Lockie was in there till 23 or 24, so as long as I'm not in too late, I think I'll be fine.
You'll be there till you're 35, don't worry. Getting back onto cricket for a little bit, do you reckon we'll ever see you back playing cricket, whether it's local or Premier?
Yeah, definitely wouldn't rule it out. I played the two 2020s here last year and really enjoyed it. It's good fun, and we got the win both times, so I told Jared if someone can't make it, might be available again. I'll just put the little hand up, but definitely I'll be back down here at some stage for sure. Yep.
Okay, I've just got a little bit of word association, so just a couple of words that might come to mind when I say these things. So, GWS Football Club.
Big sound.
Melbourne Football Club.
Horror 2018, Big 2019. Oh, 2020.
Melbourne Cricket Club's grand final night.
Spewed up in the closet.
Just on that, I had to walk in on a Thursday night and ask Brian and Sue if he was allowed to stay at the club rooms under my guidance. So I don't remember much of the night either. We won the premiership, so we had a good night. AFL Women's Comp.
Progressing really well. Yeah.
Your Gisborne Cricket Club.
The Dragons, 2020 premiers.
Your mum's homemade scones.
You've eaten too many.
They are the best. Don't worry about that. St Kilda Football Club.
Hopefully a big 2020.
All right, I'm just going to open it up to anyone in the crowd that has any questions or any want anything answered. So, open mic, roving mic, I should say. Okay, that's easy.
Yeah, I've got one. How you going? How hard is it after deciding you want to go and play football? Because from the outside it looks like you have a go at footy, you don't make it, you've still got plenty of time to go back and go into the system for state cricket or to try and get to Australia. How hard is it actually to get back into it? Or did you sort of decide you want to get back into it? Because a lot of blokes don't seem to come back when they decide to go the footy way, and then they sort of, they don't seem to come back if they were sort of tossing them up earlier.
Yeah, I mean, it's not something that I really want to do at the moment, but I haven't played kind of serious cricket for 5 years now. I mean, I'll be left a long way behind from the guys that I played all that junior stuff with in 5 years of their development and training, so it's probably a lot easier said than done to go back to Premier Cricket and find your form again, find your technique again from really ignoring it for 5 years. So it's probably, pretty hard, and that's probably why not many have really done it. Highlight was probably the MCG game. That was unbelievable to play on that with one of the great group of guys. I always loved the Central Highlands kind of trips away into town, and it's a bit sad that I don't think they do that kind of system anymore. But we head down into Lygon Street and just down there for a week with guys from Ballarat and the country region, and it was always great fun. And after watching Lockie and Eamon go through that whole thing, Eamon actually lost the grand final on the MCG, and then to finally make it after it was my 6th year of it, and being involved watching Lockie and Eamon for probably 10 years to actually win was really special, and we won in like the last over or something. It was actually a thriller, so definitely that.
I'll give you one. Best footballer you played with and best cricketer.
Cricketer, you probably have to say Renshaw. He's made a Test 100 now, so sorry, mate. Best footballer.
Wasn't a loaded question.
Best footballer. Played against Adam Goods in a twos game, so he was obviously at the back end of his career, but just watching him get around the field just in an EFL game, but he was quite a special player.
When you went to the Giants, you had a lot of injuries, right? No, you're all right. I won't do. All the injuries that you got from that, could that have been when you said you had no TAC Cup sort of preparation, and you had the cricket pre-season as a preparation? Is football a lot different, and did that lead into a lot of the injuries?
Yeah, so I've probably never really done a full footy pre-season throughout my whole juniors, just because I was busy with cricket, and towards the back end of pre-season, heading into the early stuff at the Giants, where I trained and done kind of running and footy stuff 3-4 times a week and all the weights for 3 or 4 months. That's when the kind of hip stuff came up, which it's not a major injury or anything. A lot of guys have their hips cleaned up at one stage or another. But it's possibly culminated in having those other things happen later down the track. But definitely a huge gap between kind of cricket fitness and football fitness.
Do you reckon any demands, Paddy, on cricket now has sort of lead you to where you've gone?
I think a little bit. As I said, I was only away for 3 weeks, but if you're even just a state guy, you're going on second 11 trips or shield games, or a lot of guys have the Big Bash contract, and if it's not in Melbourne, you're going 6 weeks away over summer just to play in Adelaide or wherever it is. And then if you do make the top level, you're out of Australia for half the year, and then you're travelling around Australia for the other half. So it's quite a full-on program, and you can see why some of them are taking breaks away for one reason or another, because it's so full-on.
So as a young kid, you're probably playing a lot of cricket as well, eh?
Yeah. As I said earlier, that summer of 13-14, where I played a full year of Premier Cricket, I'd done 2 or 3 kind of tournaments as well. As also trying to complete Year 12, it kind of burnt me out a little bit, and I was kind of looking forward just to getting and doing one night of training here and playing senior footy and with my mates, and a bit more relaxed atmosphere. So that, it is a lot to ask, but I mean, a lot are still doing it and doing it well.
So just sort of similar to what Jason's asking, that year before you got drafted, when you're playing senior footy now, instead of playing TAC Cup, do you reckon that actually prepared you better to go to GWS and walk into a senior team at 18 years of age than the kids who have done 2 years of TAC against other kids, basically? Because even though, well, BFL's like a massive comp in Australia, but it's playing against men every week, and we watch you down here every week. Do you feel that that prepared you better for senior footy than going to the TAC?
Yeah, I think so. I think a lot can be said for just playing against men when you're 17, 18 versus playing against people the same, or kids the same age as you. I don't think I probably would have got drafted if I was playing at Calder. I just thought I probably wasn't the type of player that recruiters were looking for in that comp, but whatever it was here that was able to kind of get their attention was, I think, the right place, right time. But I think you see the kind of Sandful and Waffle kids that are able to come in and have impacts in their first year, where there's really only the kind of top 5 picks that can kind of come in from the TAC that really have an impact early on.
So it's definitely a pathway you really recommend to some kids rather than going down that, the well-beaten path of 200 kids go down here and 2 come out the other end.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's still obviously far more common to get picked up from the TAC Cup, but any chance you get to play against, even if it's just age groups older. So I was lucky enough to play some like 6 under-14s games when I was under 12 and under-16s games when I was under 14, and then I played under-18s when I was under 16. So I think all that kind of adds on to playing against people older than you all the time, as well as having maybe 2 older brothers that help. If you're always playing against people the same age or younger, then you're probably not getting the most out of yourself.
Paddy, when you first went to the Giants, how organised were they? Were they like first class, would you have said? Was it a bit, not a shambles, but would you say it was as professional as, say, when you went back to Melbourne, was it ran well?
Some yes, some no. So they'd obviously come a long way. They had their facility and it was closer to Sydney than what most people think, and they weren't out at Blacktown training on baseball pitches, which is where they were in their first year or 2. So they'd come a long way in that respect. And the facility was first class, better than Melbourne's, and the coaching and the kind of development was probably lacking a bit behind. So yeah, in some aspects they were ready, but in other aspects they probably had a lot of room for growth, which I think they've kind of addressed now, obviously making a grand final. But yeah, coming down to Melbourne, it was a bit of an eye-opening how kind of devoted to their players they were and trying to get the best out of them, and the coaches and the programs that they put in place to kind of get the most out of each player was really professional.
And the nightlife, mate, the Giants from the first one up, I think the young blokes, you must have been chocolate.
I tried to stay away from a few, Toby Green maybe one in particular, but it was always good. The weather was always nice and the beaches weren't too far away, so the lifestyle factor was a really good bonus in Sydney. But yeah, it's a bit of a price to pay when you're away from friends and family and your missus as well.
Paddy, I listen to the Howie games a fair bit, mate, and one of the things he always asks at the end of the interview is, if you had something to sum up to young kids who aspire to do this, how would you go about it? What would be the message to them?
Probably the lesson I learned was do what you love and don't overdo it. So find a balance with everything you're doing. If you want to get drafted or you want to play cricket for Australia, don't put 100% of your time into just that aspect. It's probably contrary to what some people would say, but you still want to have that social aspect of your life. You still want to chip away at your studies or an alternate career, because that's kind of what I did, and I've had no issues with it. But I just know that putting 100% into that cricket kind of burnt me out a little bit. So yeah, find what you love and put 80% of time into that, get as good as you can without overdoing it, and then really make sure you're still social, you're still chipping away at other parts of your life.
Hey, on your
intrigued about your backyard cricket. My dad would come and play with my brothers as well, so when Brian would come and bowl to you boys, was he good and did he get you out a lot and stuff like that?
He bowls the most frustrating loopy off spinners you've ever seen, but they always hit the right length, and you play and miss, or you loop one up and you 6 and out over the back fence, so that tends to happen a little bit as well. But no, he always hits a length. He's so if anyone's a spinner here and getting tips off him, he actually knows a bit about what he's talking about.
Great question.
So leading on from that, our boys and Gav have competitions about how good they are against each other, right? So how old were you when you were better than Dad?
Oh, I don't know.
So Gav got to the point where he said the boys are, I can't bowl anything now where the boys they can hit it. So how old were you when you were actually good enough to beat Dad?
Well, we had a bowling machine, so probably never. So went up to 85 miles, so we probably could have just ramped it up. I'm not sure, maybe 14.
Anyone else?
No one else?
Well, actually, the other one. So professional footy's definitely done through desire or injuries, because you're only 22, 23, and
Yeah.
you see, was it Pods Adley for, Geelong was 27 when he got a crack at it, so definitely done.
At this stage, definitely. I mean, I was thinking about pursuing a bit of VFL and heading back down there, but I kind of want to get things going in outside of life, and if I was kind of doing a VFL pre-season and trying to dabble away at coaching and studies as well, it's probably a bit too much. So I was happy this year just to get back and play and be injury free, and I loved it so much that I'm keen to stay again, and probably put that one away for now, and never say never, but I mean it's pretty rare really that you get picked up as a mature age, and maybe one a year gets picked up. So at this stage, all done.
Just a quick one, Paddy. On sort of mental health, we've had a session up here recently tackling that. It's obviously a big issue for our society at the moment. The AFL seem to be pretty advanced with it. Just interesting hearing you talk about the opportunity to go to Sri Lanka and represent your country, and maybe coming away feeling a bit burnt out or whatever from cricket. Do you think that cricket needs to address mental health a bit more than we do? We don't hear much about it, even at the top level. Is there stuff going on behind the scenes that they do sort of address it, or is it a bit of an issue?
I'm not exactly sure. Thinking back, I don't think we kind of got educated on it. We were only kind of in and out for a 3-week tour, but I think it's definitely worthwhile to kind of speak about it, even if it's just a 3-week tour, to talk to the guy saying you're going away for 3 weeks, you probably haven't been away from your families for this long, we've got some services here, there was a doctor on the tour to chat to, all those things wouldn't go astray, just to really emphasise the fact that there's always support. So I'm not sure what their systems are in place at the moment, and the AFL do a really good job of putting good services around and educating all their players on services and the right way to tackle it. So I'm sure deep into the system now, they're kind of all over it.
So Paddy, when you went up to GWS, did you work or did you study, or was it all just football for you?
First year was all just footy. They kind of suggest just for your first year to kind of don't want to take on too much. And then the second year I tried to get into some university study on my day off with a few of the other guys. So, but definitely it's emphasised on your day off to really try and whether it's an apprenticeship or certificates or some uni study to do something, because obviously the career doesn't last forever. So I'm glad I kind of got those things on the way, because it's helped me this year once I've kind of transitioned out.
Just probably back to what CJ said about mental health. As a footballer and being in that limelight, how big an influence or is social media and the amount of media people that follow football? Do players talk about it, and does it get a few players down, and how do you deal with it?
Yeah, it absolutely does. I mean, I didn't have to kind of feel it myself because I wasn't kind of in that upper echelon, but a close friend of mine, Sam Wiedemann, he's a year younger than I am, 22 this year. Hogan left, so he was kind of the big key forward for Melbourne, and he had a pretty horrible first half of the year. Contract negotiations weren't going well, and he was getting pounded on Twitter and Facebook, and so much to the point where he had to delete them because he was kind of, really having some effects from it. So, you look on Twitter after any game of footy or the comments of any Facebook post, and you'll see supporters, because they're so passionate, but just pasting players and saying he's shit, he can't kick, all these things. And if you are a player and you do happen to come across them, I'm sure it's not the best feeling, and it can really add up if you're seeing it quite consistently. So I think it is too powerful sometimes, social media, and it's best for those kind of players playing regularly to kind of stay away, I'd say.
And do the players and the media themselves actually have a good relationship, or is it a bit of a game? Because they reckon there's thousands of media people following 700 footballers. So that's a lot of media people hiding behind bins or wherever it is to get that photo or that story. Is that distracting for the players as well, or?
At times, yeah. I mean, I think the players enjoy the ones that actually come to training and do their proper research and ask questions about footy, whereas there's other types of journalists that just try and create the big story and catch players off guard. So there are good journalists that the players respect, and then there's other ones that they definitely avoid.
Paddy, with the under-19 Sri tour, were you given a set role of how you, because I know that you used to be an opening batsman, were you told that you couldn't open for batting during that tour, or was that all up to you?
I didn't really decide the order or anything. That was kind of predetermined by the coaches and stuff. So I think I batted kind of 4 or 5 most of the trip. So I was just told where to bat, but I was happy to bat anywhere really and just do my part.
How the boys going from Harry in
I think we steered clear for most of the street ones. We were staying in a nice Western hotel, so there was plenty of Australian food around as well. So
you didn't want to eat baked beans and...
Nah, I think everyone ate pretty tame and drank bottled water and all those things. So no, I don't think anyone came away with it with the gastro.
Great question.
Did the Australian Cricket Association try and chase you more after footy, or when you look like to sign up for footy, they try and sway you back or anything? Or?
Not really. I gave one of the kind of coaches a call and told him this is where I was at, and he was fully kind of respectful of it and understood. So they obviously have that battle a bit with some kids, but I don't think the chasing side of it really works. It's more whatever what the player wants to do.
Any more? Just about time to round it up. I think Gav, you've got a presentation now.
Basil's coming out to give us a hand though.
Yep.
Just before we finish up, mate, Jared would like you to present something to you, mate. Probably a bit of an Indian gift this is, mate, because we found to hold on to it anyway. But yep, that's it. So I think Brian, on behalf of Pat, donated his cap, I believe, to the Gisborne Cricket Club. Was that right? And Brett Vernon thought that's probably not enough. We want to do something a little bit more than that, and there's not every day of the week that we have a club has an under-19 Australian captain or a captain of any sort at that level, mate. So Brett, with a bit of coin in his pocket from the club, went out and got this done for us, mate. So we'd like to present you, as I said, an Indian gift, because we're going to store it here for it. But thank you very much, and really well done, mate, on all your history of football and cricket, mate. Thanks very much.